What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 21 of Life of a Single Mom with Brittney.
And Creasha.
And today we got a few exciting topics to talk to y'all about. First off, we just want to go over, anything we had going on special this weekend. For me, I didn't have too much going on. Creasha, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Well, my second son went to prom yesterday, and I actually, flat ironed his hair because he wanted to go with his hair flat ironed. So that was like a good thing. And he got his senior night coming up. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
That's good. Something to be happy about, some good news.
Yeah.
So, uh, this week, this is her episode, so I'm gonna go ahead and let her dive in and share some of the exciting stuff she got going on.
All right, you guys. Well, the first topic I want to talk to you guys about is managing time with your daily routines. Um, Being a mom on your own is really hard, and it's really not for the weak. Parenting is not for the weak at all, anyway. But when you're doing it all by yourself, it's hard to maintain everything, like you see people with their homes together, their cars together, everything in life is just so organized, and when you by yourself, you have a hard time getting to everything, like you gotta wash clothes, you gotta fold them, you gotta dry them, you gotta cook, you gotta clean, you gotta organize everybody, make sure they going to school and doing what they supposed to do. Then if your kids have emotional breakdowns, you gotta be there for that, all while you going through your own things, while you know what I'm saying, in your own head about the stuff that you facing every day. So it's really hard to maintain those things and find a common ground to make everything work the way that it should be working. Like me, I have a hard time getting to the clothes because I just don't have time. And then there's the dilemma, like my dryer don't dry a lot. I don't have time to have somebody come to my house because I'm rarely home. I'm always at work. So it's like you can't really maneuver all the things you need to do in a day, like it's so much stuff. And then if you have kids in sports, if you have kids that have problems, or if you have, like it's so much things to battle all on your own. You can't be at all places at one time. So it's like, how do you do it? I wish y'all would get back to us and let us know like how some of y'all parents handle all those things on your own, because sometimes it feel like you're drowning. I know you probably can relate to that, Brittney.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I'm a little more like OCD, so if I don't get to that kind of stuff, it bothers me. So I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself, and that stresses me out. And um, if I don't get to it, like I feel like I've been defeated or something like that. And I don't like to feel like that. So for me, I always try to get what I need to get done. Like, and if we, you know, don't get it done, like, I'll probably raise hell in the house because I expect it to be done. And, you know,
Yeah. It bothers me, it annoys me when I see it, but it's just like, damn, I don't have no time. I feel like I'm always in a rush, because as soon as I get up in the morning, I have to get everybody ready and out the door to go to school, and then I only have 30 minutes to get to work. So it's like I'm always in a rush, like on a hamster wheel. And as soon as I get to work, it's stuff to do, like it might be patients waiting on us to get in there and open the door. So then I'm straight to work, and when I get off, I'm either at a game or I got to go straight home and cook. So I don't have time to do all that, and then it might be something that I need to work on with the kids. So it's like, man. And then I don't get home until like 6 o'clock. So it's like, that little 3 hours before sleep time, it's like you only could do so much in 3 hours. So it's just a battle.
yeah, I think like that's probably why I get so stressed out because I put, like I said, I put more pressure on myself. Like, if I know I gotta cook, I know my kid's not gonna do that shit, so I know like sometimes I have to get up in the middle of the night and cook, and that makes me angry. Like during the day, that I have to
Hmm.
sacrifice my time and my sleep to make sure certain shit get done. So it's very overwhelming, and you always feel like it's not enough time in the day to get the shit you need to get done. But that's why, it's supposed to be two people in a household to help find the
Hmm.
balance. So it's not all on one person. But even when there's times when it's two people in the household and everything is still on one person's shoulders. So
Definitely.
that's happened, quite a bit in my life. I don't know if it's happened to you, but yeah, it make it a lot. You got to find a person that really care about you, that's going to make sure and recognize what's on your shoulders and try to ease it and take some of that stress off.
Yeah. It's hard to find those type of people in life nowadays because everybody is pretty much out for themselves and they worried about what they can get done for their self, people don't go into relationships like, okay, I see this girl, she got kids, let's build something. I don't only like you, I just want to make your life better. And all around, your kids come with that. So, they going to do what it takes to make everything good. But a lot of these men be using people. They be just wanting a girl, with their own shit so they could just lean on them, and that ain't cool.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of men go through that cycle like back to back, like how you said, like a hamster on a wheel. They just go from one girl to the next, one house to the next, like, and it becomes a regular thing for them.
Yeah. It's like a normal part of life. But another topic I wanted to get into is moms raising sons, I say this because I'm a boy mom. I don't have no daughters, so I don't know what that feels like and how it is to parent them. But I know for sons, when you're raising your son on your own, it's kind of difficult because we have to teach them things we don't even know how to be, like we never stepped our foot in our a man's shoes and had to walk like that. So it's like we are meant to nurture our kids, you know what I'm saying? We have that nurturing part, that guiding, that loving, that praying structure type of a mom. And fathers are supposed to be the one to teach them how to stand a position as a man, you know what I'm saying? Things that man should do and all of that. And I'm not saying that a woman can't raise her son to be a good man, but it's definitely needed for a father to be there and teach them things that we just don't know about. I mean, everything that men go through, they don't talk to us about that. They talk amongst each other. It's certain things that a man is going to tell his homeboy or a guy that he confide in versus telling his wife or his mom or whatever. So just think about the things that our sons don't tell us, that they get into, that they do, and they have certain problems that they probably look at us like, oh, she can't figure it out because she ain't no man, she don't understand. We have to reach them in a way that they are not being raised soft and being raised like giving them everything and don't overdo it, because I know for me, my kids even tell me like, you overbearing, mom, you doing too much, like you just need to relax, and it's because we have that nurturing part, and that's where the father comes in, like, wait, like sometimes a mama gonna carry a first aid kit and be ready to cure those wounds. A father probably gonna be like, here, get over it, just throw some, some cleaning over it, and he'll be all right. But us, we like, that's our baby. So it's like we are not meant to be rough like that, and raising boys, you become rough because you have to do it all. So you have to have some type of roughness, so you built that masculinity to try to teach them the things that you think that they should know, and we still get it wrong sometimes. But it's really hard to raise your sons into the men that they need to be. That's why you have to have like certain good men around them and people that can build them up in a way that you don't know how to. That's why some people seek the pastors in the church, the deacons of the church, and the men, mentoring programs. All of those things are great too. What you think about that, Brittney?
I think that's so true. Like, I have 5 boys, so I know, like, I babied them a lot, and a lot of that had to do with, like, I know your kids had their father around periodically, but my kids never even knew their father, so it's like I overcompensated a lot for their fathers not being involved, and um I feel like I gave them a lot and I didn't teach them about earning it, and I didn't make them deserving of it, and I didn't make them appreciate it and be thankful for the things that they were getting. Like, I know my one of my sons said something to me a couple months ago and was like, "Oh, you're supposed to buy us Jordans and stuff," like, because that's what he's used to. I never made him earn them. I never made him, know that, hey, I'm just supposed to buy you basic shoes. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
to him, it's not even an option on what kind of shoes you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's funny, but it make me feel bad now because it's like I made them so entitled. You know what I mean? Like, and it's backfiring now, and that's why I said, like, I straddle the fence a lot, like, trying to decide, like, do I just let them hit the ground running and let them hit their head and learn their lesson, or do I continue to nurture them and shelter them and help them, and it's just like it's hard for you to know what to do. And like you said, having a good role model, especially another man that look like you, could make a big difference. And not only for men, but for little girls. Like, it's important for them to have their fathers in their life, because when they don't, they turn to these knuckleheads and losers and all that, because they don't have an example of what a man is supposed to be doing and how he's supposed to be treating a woman. If you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that, you go out looking for, and that's for me too. That's what I did. I didn't know my dad, I didn't have a relationship with him, so I started looking for losers and, things like that. So yeah, that's definitely my take on it. And um part of that, giving them so much is basically, you want your kids to have more than what you had. I know you understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
want your kids to have to struggle and try to hustle up money like we had to, you know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
just have the basic shit that we needed, like toiletries and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
They will never understand having to go hustle up money for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Buying
yeah,
dollar rolls of tissue because you can't
yes.
afford the whole pack.
Mhm.
Man, there was some hard ass times, man.
Yeah.
When
Hustling up coming up with the dollar and a few change to get the roll of tissue.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, fathers play an extreme role in raising their sons. You can't be out here using excuses though. Like a lot of fathers be like, "Oh, I work so much and I have to do this and I have to do that and I have other kids and I have to pay for this and I have to do." Like, I get it. Life happens. You know what I'm saying? We all got shit to take care of, but there is no way I'm gonna use an excuse on why I can't be there for my kid. You know what I'm saying? There is no reason I'm gonna do that. Like, you got to be there to teach your son stuff. It's things that they go through in their puberty stages that they need to know. Walking into their manhood, they need to know those things that we don't know. We
Yeah.
don't have the genitals that they have. So we don't know how all of that stuff works from childhood till manhood. All we know is we get the beefcakes when we grown, but we don't know about the growing of them, the growth. We don't know those stages that they go through. So fathers, step up, do what you're supposed to do for your kid, and just realize that whatever you don't teach them, you giving a person on the outside to teach them something wrong. You don't know what the people gonna teach your kids, so you want to be the first to have those serious conversations with them before they go out there and do some shit that they can't return on. As for daughters, mom, you need to be someone or an example that they can actually look up to. I see a lot of women out here these days that think it's okay for their kids to go around doing the stuff that they do. Their daughters young, wearing the stuff that they wear. Like, you don't understand that it's man all over the internet that's enticed by those things that you putting out there, so be aware, be mindful of the things that you're doing. And for the fathers, you need to guide your daughters in a way that they can choose a better man when they get older, that they not lacking the information that they need of self-love and self-respect, and just taking anything from these guys out here, being stupid, making those dumb decisions, just listening to what people tell you and thinking this man love you, and now you stuck with a baby because you just not listening. Like, you got to be there and support your kids and teach them these things beforehand, not when the shit happen or when the problem occurs. You need to be doing preventative parenting.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to look at. Preventative parenting, teaching them the things that they need to know based off of your mistakes, things that you learned the hard way. Teach them so that they don't have to learn the hard way. What's your intake on that?
I think that that's so true. And I think that a lot of the times that's why we clash with our children, because we trying to teach them, to do differently than we did. And I know for myself, I've always like kept it 100 with my kids, because I knew that in the world that's how it was gonna be. Nobody was gonna
Mm-hmm.
sugarcoat them, so I needed them to know like the real. So for me to have talked to them about, teenage pregnancy and dropping out in 11th grade and stuff like that, it just, it makes it so much harder to watch them turn around and try to do the same type of shit you didn't already raise them not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my take on that. I remember you told me a couple weeks ago, like, you got to remember, like, you can raise your kids with the best of the best, and teach them the best, and ultimately they're going to do what they want to do. And it's no, that's what I keep letting bother me, is that I feel like it's a reflection of me or a reflection of my parenting. And that's not necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? Like, pastors' kids do this type of shit.
Police
Celebrities' kids.
officers, everybody.
Yeah, so it's just like, I think, like I told you before, it's just me being harder on myself. You know what I'm saying? Versus
Yeah.
people may not even see me like that, but I see myself like that. So
Yeah.
that's my take.
Not holding yourself accountable for the things, and being aware that they are happening, because some people don't care. Some people don't even have that in perspective. They think
Yeah.
everything they do is right. And as a parent, sometimes you get it wrong, and you got to apologize, and you got to eat your mess that you made. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of growing and being a parent. Like, you're not going to get everything right. Your kids is going to hate you one day. You know what I'm saying? For stuff that you try to teach them the right. Like, I deal with that all the time. My twins have, well, one of my twins, he had a really bad attitude. And I just be like, why are you so angry? You have the power to do what you're supposed to do, So when you don't do what you're supposed to do and you get backlash from it, that's your own problem. Like, you be mad at yourself for making a different decision than you were taught to make. Don't
Yeah.
get mad at me about it. But, kids are kids. They do.
Yeah. I think also too, like, you know, I want to normalize parents not being to blame for everything. Like, because, like I talked to you about, sometimes shit just happens and it don't have nothing to do with me. Like, I think that's another reason why I be so upset, because a lot of the shit that happens, that has to do with my kids, I don't even be involved in. Like, I always feel like the shit just fall into my lap all the time for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm a real, like, introverted person, so I don't go out, I don't go nowhere. I just go to work and home. So when shit just keep popping up and it's my own kids that's creating the problems, like, that shit make it real hard. That's a real hard cross to bear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just bringing drama. I guess my mama could have probably said that to me when I was younger, because I stayed bringing drama to her front door. But I learned because I fought a lot in my days, and man, she was so mad. Like, you always in some stuff. But I
See,
was
I
like,
never brought the drama. I
I
always,
grew up in South Central LA, so
yeah,
well, it's you gonna fight or you gonna get beat up
yeah,
and punked, and I
yeah,
wasn't gonna do neither one of them. So I had to do what I had to do with these little hands, like okay. But it's crazy, and it's crazy that I used to do that, and my kids are so different. Like they don't have an ounce of gangster in them, and I'm proud of that. Some people like their kids to be rough and hood like that. I don't want
uh-huh.
I'm not, no. I don't want my kids to walk in a room and people be talking about them in a way that is so ratchet and disgusting. I want them to see my kids coming like, yeah, he gonna get the job done. Yeah, that's the one you can count on. That's the type of stuff
Yeah,
you want to see in your kids. You don't want no baby kids.
yeah, definitely. I think that, like I said, that I be hard on myself, feeling like, oh, they a reflection of me, because they are. Like, you don't want people to be to to think that, oh, something is going on at home, that's why they acting like that, or you know, they can't.
Nowadays they can't.
I still feel like they do though. Like, I've had teachers call me like, oh, such and such has been having a hard time all week. Is there something going on at home? Like, and it's gotten to the point to where now, like, I will go to fuck off on them teachers. Like, don't call me assuming that something is going on. No, he just a hard headed motherfucker that don't want to listen. Like,
Yeah.
why is gotta be something going on in the home? Like, no, this just a regular house. The mom
Mhm.
works, the kids go to school. Like, what will be going on here? Nobody's getting beat. Nobody's being starved. Nobody's nobody got no niggas running in and out the house. Like, but that's what they feel like. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
that's what I told my kids. Like, I cannot wait until they get grown in a couple months, because there won't be no more of those phone calls. That's what I'm so excited about. Like, nobody's gonna question me about the decisions that they making anymore. They'll be
Mhm.
grown, then they'll just be grown men that's making bad decisions. It'll have nothing to do with me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some parents like to buy their child's love instead of actually showing up and being active and involved. Um, to those parents that are doing that, you are basically teaching your kids to accept gifts more than respect, love, and the proper treatment that they should have. You're teaching them at a young age, no matter who shows up for you, as long as they do something for you, it's cool. So, yeah, you could come to my graduation 2 hours late when it's all over, as long as you bring me a gift. You can come to my house and bring me some gifts, but you ain't even got to stay and get to know me. You ain't got to hug me. You ain't got to show no love, have no conversation. Beware of people like that. I'm the type of person for my kids. I'm a very consistent mom. No matter my struggles, no matter my hurt, pain, all the ups and downs, roller coasters I go through, I am consistent in what I do for my kids. It's not going to change. It's only going to get better. Anybody that know me knows that I'm all about my kids. I'm all about them. Um, you cannot replace the time spent with your kids for money, because that is not a moral that you want your kid to be connected to, just money and material things and the stuff that people can do for them financially. You need a solid person on your kid team. Like, they gonna grow up, they gonna get grown and do their own thing. You gotta know that you taught your kids how to choose good friends. It's backstabbing ass people out here. Your friend had come up on somebody, next thing you know, they done killed him for all his money or did whatever. You know what I'm saying? What the girl go out of Mexico, she go into Cabo with all her friends and they killed that girl and she paid for most of that shit. That's crazy. Like, you gotta make sure that your kids have the right knowledge in the head to make good decisions and not to just be out here like a damn jellyfish in the water going wherever the waves take them. You have to talk to your kids and get in their head and understand what are they thinking, like what decisions you sure they gonna make properly. Like, because some kids be out here stupid as hell, and it's not they fault, it's their parent fault, because you didn't sit them down and teach them nothing. And sometimes your kids act like they ain't listening, but they do be listening. They just don't use it in your face, but they listen. So be aware of not being a financial parent more than an active parent, because my dad, my mom allowed him to be in my life, and I'm glad for that, because he didn't do much financially, but he spent a lot of time with me in the times that I was with him and was very active, so I'm glad that I had that, because if my mom was bitter for whatever reason she wanted to be, I would have never got that, that treatment that I got, because that's where it started. That's what I look back on. Those are the days that I seen, in my childhood, that was okay for me to look back on and be like, okay, I learned this, I learned that. This is how you should be with your, like it's different when you, I'm sure you could say that you had a little time with our dad. Like it was way different than your mom house, like the structure, the raising, even though we had to deal with other issues, it just was, a better environment for a kid versus going back home and being around ghetto ass people and making your decisions and doing all the stuff that you got into in the streets, because you knew people over there. You was raised with your mom, so you had your friends and your bad stuff going on. At dad house, you had to be a kid. It wasn't no
I
going
think
outside on your own.
I think that's so true. Like, and even looking back to like even when I lived with my foster dad, I feel like that had I just stayed there, I my life would turned out so much different. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like even like you said, living with our dad, like I lived with him for a couple months, but now that I'm older, I see now like he was just trying to help me get my life together. You know what I'm saying? I had already made a mistake. I was already pregnant. So he just wanted to be a father now. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
And um not necessarily because I wanted to be a bad girl, but because, my son's father was an adult and my dad was not having that. Like, he wasn't having him visit the child, none of that. And that's what really made me be like, no, you can't do that. But I wish I would have listened because he turned out to be a total piece of shit. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I wish I would have listened. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I mean, we both had our times with our dad, and I know, like you said, you left for that specific reason, and I left because I just wanted to be with my homies. Like I didn't want to. What I don't know if he said this to you, but he used to be like, "You gonna walk the chalk in my house?" You know what I'm saying? And he used to be like, "Ain't no kid got no say so over here." And see, when we kids, we condemn our parents for giving us that type of structure, but now that we in these seats that we sitting in being parents ourselves, you appreciate that. Like I had a hardcore stepfather. My stepfather was so hardcore, and I had such a smart mouth. Girl, I used to tell him what I used to tell that man. I know I need an ass whooping. I know I need a whooping. Call my dad and tell him to give me a whooping. I don't want you to whoop me. I don't want you to tell me stuff. Tell my dad to come tell me. And of course, that's smart mouthing a parent, and I shouldn't have said that to him, because he was there. He was married to my mom. He was the father figure in the home, and he did teach me a lot of stuff that I use today, but when we kids, we don't want to hear that stuff, but that stuff be really to mold us and to make us better, because without that, we wouldn't even have that little bit to reference on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even though it was a short time, because I don't think I stayed with him like 2 weeks. I think it was a week, and I was out of there. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. This shit is too strict for me. I gotta go smoke my blunt, bro. I gotta go. But it happens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything else to say on that subject?
No, I think you hit everything.
Yeah. The next subject I want to talk about is a little touching to me, and it's because I have two grown kids. I don't know how that was for you, but it's been really hard for me to let my kids go. Like it's been really hard to let them go, because I feel like through all of these days of raising my kids, they've been the ones holding me together. They've been the ones that push me to be better, to push me to get my life together and to make me a better person all the way around, because from the time I was pregnant with my first son, like I was off the chain. Like I was selling drugs when I was pregnant with him and stopped when I was about 8 months pregnant. But I made the decision that moment. I wanted better for my kids. I didn't want to deal with CPS. I didn't want to go to jail or none of those things. You know what I'm saying? So through all of the struggles that I had raising my kids, it's like to watch them grow up and leave the nest, like it's just really hard for me to be alone, maybe. I don't know. And I know I'm gonna have my twins and stuff, but I feel like your older kids grow with you because you're learning how to be a parent with them, so I made all my mistakes with them. I made all my decisions to do better with them. Like I graduated and they was there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things that we have memories on, and it's like I guess part of me feels like it won't be that way no more, because when you have kids, you watch them grow as kids, pretty much like when they little and they in diapers and they come and give you kisses and love you, and and then one point they don't do those things no more, then at another point they start talking back to you or having their own mind and telling you, no, I don't want to wear this or I don't want to do that. So it's just like all the stages is breaking me down to watch my kids leave. It's really breaking me down. That's been hard for me.
Um, I can understand that for you, if I still had that kind of relationship with my children, then I probably would feel the same way. Uh,
Yeah.
I know, like, with my oldest son, um, it's been like that. Like, he's been in and out of the house and, back and forth. And then my second oldest, like, I didn't really have a choice on whether or not he was, in the home or
Yeah.
not. That had nothing to do with me. So I kind of had to learn how to, and that even that period was hard of not having my second oldest in the house because it had always just been me and my five kids. You know what I mean? And, my oldest two, that like you said, they grew up with me, they helped with their siblings. So, but the relationship that we have now, like I'm finding it different. Like I am actually like craving the time, the distance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
not that I don't love my kids or anything like that, but the tumultuous chaos and stuff that's been going on. So, like at this point it has to be like some balance. Like I have to step aside and,
Yeah.
distance myself for my sanity, for my peace.
Yeah.
And even then that's hard too because I miss like our movie nights. I miss us going out to eat. I miss us going to amusement parks and having a good time. I miss us doing everything together. And
Yeah.
that when that dynamic changes, like it's like you don't really know what to do. Like you just by yourself all the time because you don't have the people. Like you said, you'll be alone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I feel now. Like uh so I guess you have like the syndrome of like empty nesting, I guess they call it, and I
Mm-hmm.
have like the syndrome of can't wait to get some time to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah. Um all parents, just be an example for your kids. Teach them how to treat other people. Some parents spend most time trying to provide. They forget to mentor, to shape their kids, to teach their kids, to guide them, through things in life. Or just don't have time doing it because they doing everything, and some of those things are put on the back burner because you got to make a living for yourself. Um, I think we have to all be examples to our kids that we would want them to be, to their kids. If you don't put a model, I was watching TD Jakes and it's 3 sessions and it's called The Model Home. And the first one, they teach about raising the kids and how you doing things structured home and how people have model homes, like of what you like, you model whatever was in front of you, you know what I'm saying, like the things that you seen growing up and all of that, that pretty much models your home. But only to find out when you go through life, those are not the homes that you need to be modeling, because it's whoever was in front of you teaching these things. If you had a lazy mom and she never worked and she always got her money from the government or did certain things to get her money, like you're going to pretty much want to be the same way, like how you gonna not work? Like, who are you to say that you ain't gotta work? Like, you're not a millionaire. You were not born into, a rich family. So it's not
Yeah.
like you have inheritance. You got to get out here and make it happen. But you just got to be an example for your kids, for real, for real. Because too many of us lack morals that we're teaching our kids. We lack respect to teach our kids. You lack a lot of things. Like, you might be providing nice clothes and nice shoes, but if they gonna go stand in front of somebody that has less than and make them feel like they have less than, then you're not really teaching your kids anything. Because along with you buying them those nice clothes, you need to beware. It's some kids that's dealing with drunken parents or abused parents or drug parents and different things. You know what I'm saying? There's kids that's out here getting molested by their dad or their mom or auntie or uncle, and stuff like that. And then they go into a public school and your nasty kid is on them about certain things. Oh, your clothes are so dirty or you look so this, but you're not realizing that that kid might be facing something that's out of their control. You know what I'm saying? But here it is that you got your kid here that you ain't taught no morals or no respect. They just being nasty to that kid. You know what I'm saying? And then that kid go drown theyself or go do something crazy to theyself because kids are being, bullying them and talking about them. You gotta teach your kids how to treat other people. For real, for real. What you think, Brittney?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I made sure I always told my kids like you treat people how you want to be treated. And that's basically how I run my life. Like I treat people how I want to be treated. I help people because I want people to help me. I'm kind to
Mm-hmm.
people because I want people to be kind to me. I work hard because I want people to work hard when they doing stuff for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's just if you can live by that, I think that alone will help you stay on the straight path of just treating people how you want to be treated. Because honestly, what person wants somebody to be treating them bad? Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, everybody hopes that people help them. People are kind to them. People will give them, if they in need.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you live like that, then it makes it easy for you to be a good person.
Yeah. And it's so terrible in this lifetime right now. People are crazy, going nuts. It's a lot of things happening. Um, I know I was reading one story online and it really touched my heart because I know you've seen it. It's all over the internet. Carmelo Anthony, the black boy that do track and just all the stuff that he's going through right now. He on a murder charge because he didn't stab the boy at the track meet and he basically is in jail for that because he stabbed him one time with a knife and killed him.
Mm.
And I say that touched me because he's a 4.0 student, like he was going somewhere, you know what I'm saying, and he did something that could possibly cost him his life, and that's what I always tell my kids, like one mistake in your life could cost you everything. You could work so hard and just do one wrong thing and it cost you everything you've worked hard for. And a lot of people are online talking bad about him, talking about the white boy. They making it a racial thing, and I feel like it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's one of those matters. I mean, as far as I got, I think some words were exchanged. He was sitting under the tent that they had up for their group, and he sat there. Who knows what reason he sat there, but they exchanged words for him to move, and he said some things to them, and I think the boy hit him or shoved him, and he put out the knife, stabbed him, and the boy died. He was a twin. He died in his twin's arm. But I don't think that people should make it like racial thing. Like whatever happened is whatever happened. The internet can't really speak on it because they wasn't there. You know, you could speculate all you want, but we have no idea what that boy was going through. Let's talk about him being a black kid first of all. Looked like he going to a good school, so who knows if he was getting bullied or things were transpired over the internet, because you know sports is crazy. Kids are crazy these days, so they say little stuff on the internet, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. You know, don't think that they don't watch the other players game and speak on stuff on the internet and all that. Like kids do that. That's what it's out there for.
Yeah.
But for him to do that and kill the boy, like who knows what he could have been facing. You know how hard it is to keep a 4.0 in school? To be a black boy in a school where there's a lot of people that are not your color or not your kind. It's hard to keep up with everything. You know what I'm saying? You never know what he was going through mentally. That could have been the last straw. He could have just had a breakdown or something before that, and here you go messing with him, and he just wigged out on you. Like you never know. The white kid could have been a bully to other people and finally got met his match. Who knows? What you think about that? I don't even know if you've seen that yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
That's crazy. It's all over the internet, but I was just like, wow, that's so sad. It touched my heart because it's like, man, he was going somewhere in his life and that could possibly cost him everything. And I know his parents are like, what the heck happened? It's just, I'm sure it's gonna come out eventually, but yeah, it's crazy. And then when I think he was speaking to the police, he told the police he did it, and then he asked the police like, can this be self-defense? And I'm like, man, see, that's why you don't talk to them police until after you didn't talk to your lawyer, because they get you in that first conversation. Whatever you say to them in that first conversation, they gonna hold that against you for sure. So that's why they say you have the right to remain silent. Remain silent when you know you done did some shit. If you know that you're gonna be in trouble for something, you better remain silent until you speak to a lawyer. For real, for real. Yeah, but just a food for thought for you guys. Um Learn to hold yourself accountable daily. We wait too much for confirmations from others. Instead, create a plan that works for you. Organize your life, prioritize things in a way that is best for you. Choose good people to have in your life. The world is getting more scary and you need solid people in your corner. Like, I was raised to not have a lot of friends. You know, I grew up having friends. They was messy. I always fought, so I just decided not to have a lot of friends. But you need good people in your corner because when you get older, you don't really have people to count on. You know, I don't have people to count on now and I'm not old. But when you get 60, 65, if God lets you see 70, who are you going to count on when you can't get to the pharmacy for your medication if you need some, or if you need some food for you? You know what I'm saying? If you need different things in your life, you need good people in your life that can help you. And it's not just all about finances. It's about, you know, just having a stable circle. Somebody like, if you die today, do you know who's going to take care of your stuff? Like for your kids, do you know who's going to make sure that everything happens for you and your funeral is accounted for and everything goes the way that it's supposed to go? Like you got to have those type of people you can trust in your corner, not people that's going to wait for you to die and wait for your money and benefits and all of that. You know, that's why I was so happy when my kids got grown, because I'm like, finally they can accept their own inheritance and they can, you know, get this life insurance when I die or whatever happens to me. They'll have something sacred for themselves, you know. But those are things that you want to make sure that you have to count on, you know. And family ain't everything these days, so you might have a friend, you might have a significant other, whoever it is. Just find somebody that you can really trust in those needy times, because people out here scheming and being scandalous, and you just really need to have solid people in your corner, because if you can't trust the person you sleep next to, you definitely can't trust certain people, you know. So you gotta really know who's in your circle and who's for you and not against you, you know. For real, for real. What you think about that, Brittney?
I agree with that. I think that that's kind of why I don't have nobody in my circle. I don't really trust nobody, and uh, it's kind of hard, especially when you've been, messed over a few times. So that make it even harder for you to want to let people in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is hard to do that, but like you said, you an introvert, if you don't meet nobody, then what you gonna do? Do you ever think about that when you like in your 60s, like who's gonna help you or what's gonna happen?
No, I mean, back in the days when I was a little bit younger, I always felt like it would be my kids, to be there for me when I get older, up in age and shit. But now, like, no, I don't think about that because, I mean, there is nobody. So it's just like whatever happens, whatever happens.
Yeah, but you don't ever think like I should start some relationships and get to know people and have some friends in my life and in my circle and stuff like that.
I do. I mean, like I told you, I had a lot of fun at your birthday stuff, but at the same time, like I'm noticing too, like I'm starting to want to distance myself more from people because of everything that I'm going through. Like I don't feel like nobody can understand what I'm going through because nobody's going through it, and I don't feel like always being the negative person or being like I can't be happy around everybody else when I'm going through the stuff that I'm going through. So that's another thing like that I was, just debating to myself, like just starting to distance myself until, I'm at a better place because, like I told you before, I'm real negative right now. I have so much stuff going on and I don't want
Yeah.
that stuff to be, a reflection of who I am. I don't want people to meet me in this particular time in my life and that be what they think of me. You know what I'm saying? I would rather people meet me when I'm in a better place mentally. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I think that has to do with just being in a funk of what you're going through, but not realizing that it's people around the world that's going through things like you. You may not know those people per se, but it's definitely somebody going this you're not the only person, you're just the only person you know of. But that's even more so reason why you do need to talk to people and meet other people because you never know what's out there, we can't say what's out there if we haven't tried, but I do know that when you going through your own stuff, you don't want to be around people that's in positive zones because you're like, shit, I ain't feeling like that, or I'm not smiling today, so I don't want to be around y'all. Y'all all happy go lucky. I'm in a depressed mode, so I'm not fucking with it, Y'all want to go out to eat and do all this fun stuff, but I'm not in the mood. I just want to stay in the bed and think or just cry or whatever, but that's why you need a circle, like just like we look at I always revert back to my show, Girlfriends, Sometimes one of them in the picture be going through some stuff and be really depressed, and here come they friend popping off, and upbeating them and talking about it and helping them find solutions. And that's what I was talking about on my last episode is like just having a circle of women that can relate to certain things. Might not be exactly your life, but it could be something that you've been through and y'all can kind of relate to, but when you handling it all by yourself, you gonna feel overwhelmed, you gonna feel like that. Sometimes when you talk about it, it helps. Sometimes you might not have a solution, but just getting it off your chest and having somebody listen to your side and understand where you coming from, because sometimes you could feel some things, but then you feel like you're not heard, so you don't feel like you expressing yourself like you need to. So that's why you need a circle. Sometimes people hold you accountable, like don't be in a funk, like you better feel like this, or you better get this done, or you better, don't let that stop your day. But if you don't have that, you just gonna sit there and feel that way, like sometimes you could be in a depressed mode and it take the right person at the right time to come and get you out of that mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, we not gonna sit up in here and do this today. We finna go out to eat, or we gonna try to have a good time, or we gonna pray together, or we gonna do, you know what I'm saying, something. But if you by yourself, you not gonna have that circle to do that. which is why, hell, sometimes you don't even answer my calls and I'll still blow you up. I'll still call you, let you know I care about you. I don't care if you don't want to talk to me today, but I'm still going to let you know I was thinking about you. I'm still going to tell you something positive today. I'm still going to wake up and send you a message so you can listen to it or not, but you know that I was thinking about you. And that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, even when you don't want to be bothered, your friends coming through. That type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's important to have people in your corner, but at the same time, like when you don't know people and you just trying to meet people, when you
Yeah.
meet these people while you going through all this shit, it's definitely not easy to trust people and let them in and stuff like that. Like, uh, also, like, yeah, you blow me up and you know call all the time and stuff like that, but even so, like I told you, I know other people are going through stuff too. I don't for one second think I'm the only person, but what I'm saying is people that I know and that I'm around are not going through what I'm going through. So it's difficult to talk to, you or somebody else because y'all not going through what I'm going through. So I don't want to keep talking about that kind of stuff because I don't see that uh y'all could even understand, what I'm going through because it's not happening to y'all. Y'all haven't been there, so you don't know yet. You can only
Yeah.
offer me advice and stuff on the stuff that you've experienced. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so that's like I feel like maybe I need to meet other people that's going through this kind of stuff that I'm going through. Not just, because it's hard to be the only person in a circle that's having this type of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? it's hard to not
Yeah.
have it's hard not to have nothing good to talk about. Like literally, like there's nothing going good in my life. Like at least you have, even if you're not happy in your love life or your job, whatever it may be, you still have the stuff with your kids to be happy about. So it's just when
Yeah.
you don't have nothing, you just like, oh, like you don't feel like you have nothing in common with nobody, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta get you some women's circles or something like that. And not even that everybody is going to relate to your situation, but just being able to give some type of advice on certain things that's kind of close to that same thing. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was learning to be the bigger person in certain situations. Learning to be quiet, knowing that everything does not need a reaction. Sometimes you just have to let people be themselves. Don't make a fool of yourself because other people want to make a fool of themselves. Um, Being good to others don't cost you nothing. You never know what people is going through. Kindness is free. We are living in some days that are really trying with the government, school systems, friendships, families. It's a lot of hell breaking out. And we need to be mindful of people that are not in their right minds. Learn to ignore people. Everything don't need a reaction. Like, I see certain situations where African American women are looking at each other in different manners and being disrespectful to each other and intimidated by each other or trying to intimidate each other just by walking in the store together or just by being in the same place at the same time. Like, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to why do we have to be disrespectful to each other? For no damn reason. If you don't know me and I don't know you and we just locked eyes, why is there a problem off top? You know what I'm saying? Be kind to each other. We all gotta live out here. I see people out here fighting in front of their kids and shit. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Learn how to handle big adult problems like big adults. Be respectful of other people. This ain't your world. It's our world. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta live in it. So do your part and be a better person so that everybody else can live here and be peaceful. If you got a stank ass attitude, stay at home. If you're not gonna be respectful of nobody else's space, if you in a rush and you got road rage, then leave earlier. Don't be out here flicking people off and doing all this disrespectful stuff in public, thinking that you entitled to everything. That's what I wanted to let y'all know. Like, for real, for real. Let's be adults out here. Make good decisions.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice. I know Tabitha Brown always says, she has a saying, and she says, I don't care, even if you can't have a good day, that don't mean you get to go out there and mess up nobody else's day. So that's basically what you said. Like, either stay at home or keep it to yourself. Like, that's why, like, when I go into work, I leave that whatever I'm going through at home, I leave it at home, and that when I get to work, I'm a different person because I can't bring that shit into work because people will notice and they'll see. Like, I know I had one of my coworkers tell me the other day, like, girl, what is going on with you? You always sound like you so depressed. Like, every time I answer, it sounds like a monotone kind of answer. Like,
Oh,
and I'm just
man.
like, sometimes I don't even realize that I'm doing it. Like, that's just my answer. Like, and so now that's something I got to work on now too. Like, so if that's coming out at work, like, that means that I'm not doing such a good job of leaving that shit at home. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I got to be mindful of and try to, perk up and pep up when I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't answer like I feel internally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard to do because I sure be
Yeah.
having an attitude at work and I be
Mhm.
forgetting that I have this resting bitch
Yeah.
face
Yeah. That's
and
it.
I don't smile a lot, so
Yeah.
sometimes I feel my face doing it and I'm like, oh, let me smile, like, because it's crazy. People always tell me I got a beautiful smile, but I just don't have the normalness of
Smiling.
smiling all
Yeah.
the time,
Me
so
too.
I'm just like always looking serious. And
I ain't
it's
never
like
had
people
shit
be
to
like, you're
smile about.
approachable. I've always been told that I have a non-approachable face. And then when they
Yes.
talk to me, they like, cool as a mug, but you do
Yeah.
not have a face that I speak to, like, cause you mean looking. I'm like,
I've
wow.
had
So I
men
gotta do
tell me
better
that.
on
Like, yeah.
that.
I've had men tell me that, like, you so pretty, but I was scared to talk to you the way you look. Like, yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we
Nah,
done?
I'm done.
You done? Um, so yeah, this was episode 21, you guys. I can't believe we're 21 episodes in now. It's a long time coming.
Man,
Our outgoing message is gonna be something like just for us because I feel like I wanna get through to the people that are viewing so that they can pass along and make sure, they friends and family are tuning in. Like, we really need y'all to be tuning in and sharing the episodes and, listening to them. Even if you can't listen to the whole thing, like I've told y'all, we get it. Life is hectic. Put it on, let it play in the background. Maybe you'll catch a few bits and pieces
mhm.
of what we saying because this stuff is real and we're not um I don't want people to think that, we out here trying to blow up just for monetary gain. We out here trying to blow up because we really passionate about the information and the experiences that we've been through.
Mhm.
We want to help other people. And so that's our
Yes.
main goal. Like, if the money comes after, that's fine. Like, but we really started this podcast to help other people. And mainly for me because I know my sister and my auntie are always telling me, like, you gonna help somebody with all the stuff that you going through. Like, I I want to be able to say, like, damn, I did help somebody. Because right now, as it
Right.
stands, like I told you guys, I feel like right now, like it's all in vain, like everything, and I just want to. I don't want to get emotional, but I just want to, like, reach somebody and know that we're helping some people, even if it's,
Yeah.
teenagers that are listening or, their parents. So that's what I wanted to
Yes.
leave you guys with. Creasha, did you want to add anything to that?
Just be mindful, you guys, of the things that women go through, and mothers go through. We don't talk about a lot of things, but we need to. If you have somebody in your life, be there for them, see what they need. See if they need some talking, not always financial, take a walk with your friend. If you got a niece that's in problems, or your auntie needs help with health issues, help. If you could be a helping hand to somebody, be a helping hand to somebody. Don't be a hurtful hand, be a helpful hand. That's what I'm gonna leave y'all with.
You guys make sure that you're tuning in every Monday nights on Spotify and YouTube for our new episodes. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook under Life of a Single Mom with Brittney and Creasha. You can reach us on X and TikTok under LOASM 2024. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, you just want to say hi, or you want to be a guest on the show, email us at loasm2024 at gmail or loasm2025 at gmail. And as always, you guys know what to do. Do your best to be less stressed and more blessed as you out here raising these kids. Till next time.
Bye, guys.